Alright, what's going on, everybody? My name's KillerMiller, and I'm actually going to be bringing you guys a professional player review today. I asked in the Discord what everybody wanted, and Brax was the highest requested, and that's actually, funnily enough, who I wanted to watch. But the problem was, Brax hasn't streamed in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and his most recent game was before Ranked even came out. So not only has the meta changed a lot, there's just been a lot of changes, and like, who knows what level of skill he was playing, all of this stuff. So those two things being said, I figured I wanted to avoid him, and I know somebody else asked for Tenz, and I know he's kind of popping up right now as far as his name and stuff. So I figured, we'll watch Tenz. So that's what we're here to do today. I'm gonna watch this player's gameplay, break it down, point out all the good stuff he does and why it's good, and even be able to point out some mistakes he makes. And so maybe you guys can have actually see like what high level gameplay looks like and what the differences are between your games and their games. Obviously, there could be quite a bit if you're at a lower level, but obviously, if you copy somewhat of what these players do, or at least imitate it to a certain degree, you'll be able to you'll be in a good spot for your games, because obviously if you can do what a pro player does, you're in a good spot. So the start of this round, they ran through here before the round even started, which doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Not the problem. And so she wide swings here. This is really interesting by the Jett here, because she peeks for vision, but she should definitely not do it the way she did, because Tenz wasn't ready for this, which is why he didn't react, as you can tell. But if he had his gun out, she's probably dead here. So it's a decent peek, because she's playing Jett, so she can get out easy, which is probably what happens. She smokes and dashes out, but it could have been really risky for them. So, anyways, the only thing Tenz there need to do is just have his gun out, be ready for something like that. And hopefully we'll see that in future rounds, especially if he has playing a Jett on A. You can expect them to peek for info because they can get out so easy. So right now, let's keep watching the round out. Okay, cool. Let's just see what else happens. All right, so let's break down what happened. So just like at low elo, high elo, it's always the same. Trading, as I preach to all of you, is very important. You want to always go for trade frags, right? And so here they're in a really weird spot. So they have Heaven smoked, and then they have CT smoked. He should go with the Brimstone here, in my opinion, because what's going to happen is he can get this trade kill whenever, who is this? Sova kills him. That's an easy trade for him. And then if this Jett flies out, the Sage can trade him again. And so that leaves a free sight. But instead, what he does is he sits back and shoots. So this is actually a mistake by him. I think he needs to get out. Also, considering he has a champion like Brimstone who needs to be alive, especially if he kept another smoke, which I don't know if he actually did or not, for post plants. So playing the champ like Jett, who is actually not a very good champ as it is, she has her strengths, don't get me wrong, he needs to be the one to go in. And obviously, it looks like he was preempting or waiting for them to push the smoke, which they did. But what's more important is getting out and taking the site. So I think this is a mistake by him. Well, obviously, as the round plays out, they just start getting picked off, and there was really just no trades to be had. Everybody took 1v1s. Brimstone could have been in a better spot. This person took a 1v1. She just took a 1v1, and then we'll see what happens for the rest of this round. Zoom it through some. Goes to peek a little bit, try and get some info. Yep, and that's pretty much what happens. They all just die. So, obviously this wasn't fully on Tenz. Should the Brimstone have pushed there? I say yes, because everything's smoked off. His team going Heaven is interesting, because what happened there is Cypher has this stuff cleared off, and what's most important is getting site control. Now, obviously, getting Heaven is very important also, because this is such a huge choke point, especially for retakes. Cutting off Heaven is huge for when you're holding a site, but it's useless if you don't have a site. And so, yes, I think he should have went with his Brimstone here, and he could have avoided all of this together. So that's for that round. Okay, it looks like they're just full saving for this second round, or next round. What in the world? His money's a little whack. Where'd he buy? Sheriff? Ooh, this is risky. Also don't have comms. I don't know if they're 5Q'd. I don't know what's going on. So a lot of that I'm just not, I don't really know. We'll keep playing through. I get walled off. Tenz is around. It's okay. Not too much you can do there. It's a save round. It depends on what his team's goal is here. If they're trying to go in, they just got to work picks better, work some trades better. This was fine by him because if he dies here, it should get traded, but it just doesn't because it's there and nobody has money. So, you know, it's okay. It wasn't too bad of a round. But that being said, I don't think he should have bought the deagle, or the hand cannon, excuse me, because now he's left with light armor and AK. And so this could be bad for him. Okay, peeks for info. That was a scary peek because what happened here, he just kind of blind peeked it. Now, there comes a point where you have to eventually take fights, of course, but if this Sova wasn't shooting his bolt, then he could have died here. So this could have been scary. But at the same time, it's kind of common for Sovas to do something like this, so it wasn't the worst peak, but I think that is something that needs to be thought about whenever you're taking fights, of course. Dry peak, very scary once again, but as his job is the entry frag, he is playing Jett, that is what he's supposed to do. And so these peaks aren't bad because somebody's gonna have to do it, and so he's gonna have to be the one. I'm just acknowledging that this stuff can be scary, and so yeah, so that's what happens here. He peeks out, he gets the kill, that's his job. Good. And if he dies there, his teammates can trade it. So, not too bad. So, like I said, the player that peeked up here, the Sova, peak was scary, but somebody has to make it. Now, obviously, we'll back up a second just to kind of point some stuff out. The only thing that they, as a team, need to consider is that if they want to take this angle, they have to be expecting him to potentially die here. Because what's going to happen is they don't have any... they don't have a util right now because there's no flashes for the team and Brimstone's playing towards mid. So this has to be, like I said, expected for this to possibly happen for him to die here. Now, if they're 5Q'd, if they're communicating, which if you can see comms at higher level, most everybody will be making comms, so that's good. It's fine, but just something I wanted to point out. So gets that player killed. Looking to get frags. Making work of Heaven control, which is good because they have the Raze as the entry now, and he is cutting off. So let's just act like, let's not even look at his perspective. So as Raze and Sage pushing in, Raze is going to entry, the Sage is going to be the backup, right? So him being Heaven will partially cut off all the Heaven players. So what's going to happen is you'll probably see these players look towards Heaven, which they do. They see nobody there, and now that Tenz is playing here, he has control of Heaven. So these players no longer have to worry about this upper spot. All they have to worry about is all these angles like sight, CT, and all that. So this is good by him to be aware of this and cut this off. And that allows this team to get on site safely and not be scared. So that's good. Him dying here, I think he could have prevented this death. Is a little ambitious. But at the end of the day, what he did overall was a good play because he ended up helping his team get on site without them knowing. Now, obviously, in pistol round, they try to do the same thing, but the issue was there was one person pushing site and 4 going Heaven. So that was a problem. Where this is how it should be, where you have like 1 or 2 go Heaven and the rest go site, because this is more ideal. At the end of the day, even somebody being at this spot that he was in right here forces pressure towards him. So these Heaven players can't just wide swing out and look out on site. They have to acknowledge him. So him being here is really good. Obviously, the death, him dying here, was a little unnecessary. The Sova made a good peek because he realized he was about to be out of ammo, and he got the kill. But overall, decent round by Tenz. And looks like they played the round and win it, so good. Even as an entry, they have double entry with Raze and Sage, or Raze and Jett, excuse me. So he's allowed to make plays like this. So good. Did he just the piss? That was disgusting. He hit that shot? I don't think he did. He did. Wait, no, he couldn't have. He has a freaking Vandal. Whatever. So this was once again kind of scary. You need to be aware of the player to be here, which he just flicked to her and just gave her the work. That's just something he does as a player. But at the same, like I said, going back to the original point, somebody has to entry, and so it's not necessarily bad. The reason I'm pointing out that he needs to be aware is mainly for the viewers watching, so people can be like, why he's doing this. Like he does need to think about this stuff, and so would you if you're in his spot. So once again, now he's just doing his job as entry, getting in sight, getting kills, which is good. Making some plays towards Heaven, trying to cut off some of these players, which he's doing effectively. Good use abilities here. This is a little scary, but you know, he's probably just feeling himself. Let's screw it. Why not? They have sight. That helps get info towards Heaven. And then, ooh, who did he kill here? Yep, push through smoke is the last kill. So good round by him. Good round by him. Same sort of things we're seeing. Just notice how he's going in first. That's his job. That is as the champion he's playing. It's going to be either him or the Rays, and that's what's going on. So that's good by him. So we notice how we have the Rays posting up on that angle in order to prevent the push, which is good because I'm assuming they don't want to just dry push A, which is like what's happening. So we'll see what happens here. Good trail by him. Hang on, let's back up it a little bit. It was a little scary because him pushing up here. I think it looks like this Brimstone was like taking something out. I don't know if he was resmoking or what. Let's find out. I want to say he was resmoking. But you can see for a split second he does not have his gun out here. He has something else out here. And so if he had his gun out here, Tenz is probably dead. So this is a bad peek. And the main reason it's a bad peek is because his team can't really follow up. Because if he gets this, if the Brimstone kills Jett here, the Cypher can't just trade him because there's a smoke down. So this is kind of a bad idea. Not a very good peek by him. Then the Brimstone just makes an even stupider play by just peeking back after he has no more priority on the angle. But you could see how why this is a bad peek, because I think if the Brimstone was more prepared, he dies here because he was staring right at him, and Tenz didn't even kill the guy because even until after he repeaked. Right here, he didn't kill him. So if Brimstone had his gun out, I think Tenz dead here. So this is a bad peek. Mainly just because his team can't trade up, because obviously he has to go for the kills, which is true. But if there's somebody to trade, then it's bad. And I think if he would have died there, and the Brimstone could have also lived. So that was not the smartest peek in the world. I don't know what she was thinking, but that's fine. Letting his team take sight, because they just killed the Sage. So it's like, okay, we have sight. Sight is free. Now he's just playing around, looking for the enemy team, hunting them down, trying not to let them save guns. Good. All right, let's see. He is stomping around, a little scary. Oh snap! Good of him to acknowledge the one little spot he had. He didn't freak out and just dash out. This is good by him. A little scary, but it was good. Keeps pushing around the site. They got the trade kill, which is fine. Like I said, I think it'd be good for him to be the one to go in first here, because once you get to this point where you have, well, you know, they don't have site control, but they have, like, they pretty much almost do. And basically the way they can look at this is once you get to the point where you're about to take site is who is more important post plant, and that's gonna be Cypher. He has much more important, much better kit, much more better spot post plant. So I think actually it'd be better for him to go in here and then keep the Sage and Cypher alive. That would just put them in a much better spot. Obviously, we'll see how the rest of the round plays out. And then they have res, so it's not the worst. It's all good. They get that kill, and now it's 2v4. Oh, shoot. I didn't even see what happened. Why can't I wish I can go this in better increments. I have to go in seconds of 10, which is annoying. Anyways, it's fine. Gets the kill there. That's fine. Could have died, but at the end of the day, in a spot like this, you don't want to take 1v1 fights, but since it's 2v4, he can afford to do this, because if he dies, they now have info. It's like, okay, we know for 100% fact Jett is CT. And then his teammates can set up around that, and which should help them out quite a bit. So this was fine going that, and see, this is how tragedies start. It's right here. Because he got greedy going for this kill. Once he got the info here, obviously he just wants to get the kill, like, whatever, I get it. But the smart play would be to not do this, because what happens is if he dies, which they both do, now it's a 1v2, or instead, and if I don't know, actually, I can't see what happens here, but if the Brimstone would have killed their Brimstone, like the Tenz's side, it would be a 1v1, and that'd be really bad. So you see why taking these fights is really bad. So once, like I said, once he gets the info, this hold is fine. Once he gets the info he's there, they should technically fall off, or at least wait a little bit until then hunt down in just a little bit. Because if they hunt down later, when he has no chance of winning the round, then it's fine to go for that kind of stuff if they have the money, which they do. So not too bad. I think they have, obviously they clearly have info that he's there. I think the shot would be good to take there, because it wouldn't hurt, unless they just don't want to give info that they have ops. Wait, did he take it? Yeah, he did. Okay, whatever. Point is, that's super nitpicky. Doesn't mean much. Could have potentially gotten a kill, but like whatever. It's all good. Let's just skip ahead a little bit. I more so want to break down his gameplay than the teams. Once pro play gets spread around, we can break down some of that stuff. It doesn't look like too much happens there. His team's just getting kills. They're on an eco. It's all good. Ooh, he uses his dash here. Let's see. That was a good peek by him. He gets info in a very smart location. Another good piece. So this is where Jett's strength shines through as an opper, because of the way her dash and her kit works. You can put yourself in a spot to take a fight and then get yourself out of it. And you see here, this is kind of what happened. Now, obviously, their Jett looks like she was either aware or she reacted, because his peak wasn't quite tight enough. He peaked a little too slow. You see what he was going for here, but you just got to be crisper with this, because right here, is that an op? I want to say that's an op she shot him with, so he should be dead here, I think. But this is more nitpicky. Learning this angle on this box to peek this perfectly, like fluidly, instead of peeking it slowly like he did, and showing your body in increments where she can react to kill him, which is what happened, is obviously bad. But to be fair, you don't ever peek that. That doesn't happen too often. But just kind of a nitpicky thing. So now he keeps posted up on the angle. You see her dash out. No big deal. Let's keep pushing through. This is a misplay by Cypher. He just kind of pushes onto site by himself, knowing that there's an opera on site. And then now he goes out by himself. So this is really bad by his two teammates. I think it'd be better, because they have 3 players posted up here. Either he goes down there with them, but because he has an op, I would say probably not. Or the Rays goes down there. So I want to say that the Rays should go down there with them in order to help out with these trades. Because at the end of the day, this guy just pushed in, did not clear over here, and because of that, he died. And then the Brimstone was focused on her, and he gets swung around by their Cypher, and he does. And so he could have prevented this, and so could have the Rays. Either one of them should have been there. They don't need. I'm pretty sure the Rays is also opping from the beginning of the round, so there's no need for that. Like I said, if they're both opping, I would say to have Tenz go in, because he has ult, which he could just use to get in sight and get in there and pick up some easy trades. So yeah, okay, so Rays did have an op. So yeah, one of them should have done it, and like I said, I think it should have been him. So once again, I think utilizing his strength, his champion strength would be, or agents, excuse me, would be better. But end all be all. Let's see how the round plays out. Oh boy. Okay, that was really bad by him. No, the enemy, not Tenz. Back up a second. So I think he should be scared of. I'm assuming they had to have info that they're both up here. Now they do, of course, but before that, I'm sure they did, which is why he just didn't. That's why he ignored sight. And so we'll see how this round plays out for them both. So now they have vision of him, and yeah, he does. So overall, it's an okay round. They're kind of in a weird spot. They have double op, and double op on T side I think is bad. So like I said, whether or not he should have had the op or the Ray should have, you know, that's something they should communicate, not him, or you know, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. And so that being said, they kind of lost the round because of that. Like I said, if the communication is better there, it'd be fine. I think with a champ like Jett, opping is really good, but I think if you take a site like A, it's good for Jett to have a rifle to get in sight really well, because a lot of the times most of the places on A are hard to defend with. Not hard to defend from, but like, I don't know, it's hard. You're not gonna always have the best cover, because if you play on site, like behind the sight box, I don't have a drawing for this. Anyways, if you play behind the sight box on A, now they know you're there, and it's hard for you to get out. And by then, all the other spots on A. So I think it's good for him to get in with a rifle, get the info, potentially get kills, and then have his teammate trade him. So overall, not too much of his fault, but I think there was a few things he could have done better. Okay, this is just ambitious. This is definitely not something he should have done. Walking through the smoke with an op. I respected it because he's just going hard, but yeah, the very clear reason why this is bad. They're completely just. There's no way in any world where his teammates can trade him here, and because of that, he dies and nothing else happens. So that was pretty bad by him. But to be fair, it's Pugs. He's just going hard. He's just trying to get some kills. Like, as somebody who's critiquing gameplay, it is bad, but like I said, he's just trying to get some kills. He's just pugging out, so it is what it is. Okay, posting up on B here, that's fine. Preventing him from pushing, which a lot of ciphers do, including myself. Okay, he dies to that, which is unfortunate. Good for him to utilize or not utilize his dash there because he doesn't need to. Let's see here. Yeah. Missed the shot. Could have died to Sage there. I think. Oh wow, she lives. That's insane, actually. Little scary by him. Good pick by that. That was actually pretty good awareness, knowing that she was probably just gonna fly out with her ult to whip out the shorty. So good by him. I get on site, get bombed down, didn't clear sight. Yeah, this is also pretty bad. He knows they don't have any info of the Sova, and they know he's an A player, and so he never cleared sight. So pretty bad. But so I think right now the way his team is playing, he does not need to be opping, because as you can see, pretty much every round, including this one, he's like the first one in. It seems like, and so because of that, having an op in this spot is clearly bad. If he has a rifle here, now he should hit the shot, sure. But if he has a rifle here, he definitely gets the kill on her, no question. Because it's just your close range, all that. And so I think the way his team's playing, he does not need to be opping here. Like I said, if they're queued, then they should definitely combat better. And if not, he should just recognize, like, okay, look, I've been the first one in pretty much every game, or every round, excuse me. I need to pick up the rifle. Or he needs to communicate to his team, hey, look, I'm opping, I need somebody else to get in first. Whatever the case may be. So I think he's playing his champion correctly for the most part. But at the end of the day, he needs to be a little more aware of this stuff. Alright, let's see what happens. So he's entering, good for him. This is good. As the Rays went up and ulted, I think the Jett peek was bad because she could have ulted him or her. So Jett was a little scary there. But at the same time, she's just kind of peeking for info, getting very aggro, which can be scary. And so Tenz gets the kill there. Could have been a trade, but it's fine. That part doesn't really matter too much. Gets a little aggro CT because they have priority. The only place the enemy could be right now is in heaven, which is why he starts walking here. Then he gets opt. Or no, he didn't start walking actually. Let's watch. Let's chill. So this is interesting because it depends on what his goal is here. If his goal is to watch CT, which I actually don't know if he wants to watch CT or get into heaven. I would imagine he wants to get into heaven. And if he wants to, I think he should smoke it, because at the end of the day, he's been walking the whole way. Running, excuse me, the whole way. He just started walking like right then. And so Cypher heard him, and because of that, Cypher posted up with his op, and he dies to it right here. Starts walking. Cypher's like, oh wait, I hear. Gets the op out, peeks it, boom, dead. So, and now it's a 4v4, and this is really scary because now they have Jett and Sage. We know are now both over here because they just ulted, and Cypher, and so now they're not necessarily in a disadvantage because they have bomb down and stuff. But this could be really bad. This could be detrimental round. Let's see actually how it plays out. Yeah, and they lose the round because of it. And so you see why some of these decisions can be a little scary. Him going CT I don't think is bad here, but what happens is if like I said, I think if he wants to go heaven, he should smoke right here and then walk into heaven. or he should just sit back, because what's going to happen if he sits back, it completely cuts off the CT push, because he can hold an off angle to where he can see them walk into heaven, and he can either call it, be like, hey, they're heaven, or since he's holding an off angle, he could probably get the shot off on the enemy without them knowing. And because of his utility, he can more than likely get out once he gets the kill. Because he can kill one of them, smoke himself in, smoke that, whatever, dash out. Because I think he'll get the dash. Wait, is it after 2 kills he'll get the dash? Maybe. Even if he didn't even need to dash out. Point is, he could just throw a smoke down. So, head pushing here is a little too ambitious. Like I said, he needs to either smoke this because he was running the whole time, in order to get into heaven, or he needs to play back. Also, he needs to walk majority of the way. Like I said, he started running here or started walking there. But up until like this point where my mouse is now is where he started, running. And so because of that, gave Cypher his position. And even if Cypher didn't get his position because of that, he should expect an enemy to be there. And because of that, like I said, he should use his kit a little more, and they lose round off it. So you see how sometimes getting a little too ambitious can lose you rounds. And that's exactly what happened here. Because it could have been a completely different game if he just sat back in that spot. So, okay, no big deal.
Hunter after?
Excuse me. Okay, I think here this is okay.
Hunter after?
This is ambitious by Raze here. So as a lot of you, if you've been coached maybe before, you know how I like to talk about taking fights. So if you're holding an angle of any sort, peeking into an angle, there's 2 things that should always go through your head. 1, how can I die? And 2, how can I not get the kill? And that sounds really weird. So what I mean by that is, first of all, how can you die? And what I mean by that is like how can the enemy kill you? Just think about it. Have that in the back of your head. And the bigger one is, how can I not get this kill? So what that means is, could your crosshair placement be off? So you maybe just missed a shot. Are you just outgunned? Any of these things. Any of these things go through your head and you'll peek angles better. And that's exactly what happened to the Raze here. Excuse me. We see, I think Raze, yeah, she has an SMG. And because of that, if she would have thought about this, she probably wouldn't have swung into a long angle with a submachine gun. And because of that, she lost the fight. Because she took a long range fight with a submachine gun. So Tenz goes for the trade here. He just misses. That's okay. He did the right play there. To go for that because she was either reloading or not expecting him. So good by him.
Wait, Sova?
I think he needs to be wary of sight. Yes, he is, because we know that Sova's an A player. Whether or not he's actually on sight is one thing.
Yeah, he could be on
Let's
sight
see.
still.
That's why you see him going cautious here, being cautious.
Is that Jett?
Just kind of shoulder peeking for info. We see him die from under, and then she peeks. Let's see. Let's just watch this out.
Underneath? He can be on sight still.
He technically saw his gun right there, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's real nitpicky. I think at this point he does get onto sight, because it's hard to say because you're in a weird spot.
Sova can be on sight.
I think if he smokes CT and then walks onto sight and saves his dash, it'd be good, because what's going to happen is this Sage is heaven. If he smokes off CT, she can drop with him, and then as he jumps onto sight, she can trade him. But instead, he kind of sits back. And then he doesn't get the immediate trade. He could have died here by that player, and he also could have gotten the kill. Obviously, it can go either way. But the end all be all is how scary that can be. I think, yeah. So basically, like, I think they just need some better communication. Like, we got, they are aware that he is an A player, so they're expecting him to be around site somewhere. They just don't know where. And so I think that can be better communicated. Like, Sova's on site, pushing me site, whatever the case would be. And even if she pushes with him, and that he gets to right about where this gun is by the time, and then he shoots her, it's a very easy trade for him, because he all he has to do is just turn around and smack him, whereas he was completely focused shooting an enemy, and he could react quicker and get that kill. Obviously the Brimstone just killed everybody, so that's fine. But these are things. This is a little more nitpicky, and I say that because that was kind of a niche situation. He was in kind of a really weird spot, so it's kind of hard to even predict him to be there. But at least the idea was right of him expecting the player to be on A somewhere. So that's good. Not too bad. It's all good. Bunch of pistol out. All right, stuff drops. He goes for the picks. Well, that's a good play by him. So notice when you're in a spot like this, what's key is peeking for info. So that's what he does here. He's peeking for info, just waiting, because he knows if he takes a fight here, what's gonna happen is, you know, they're trying to push A, let's say. Even if we don't know that these smokes are dropping yet, we don't know what's going on. When we see him shoulder peeking here, he's doing that because he knows if they want to go A, they're not just gonna peek one player. One player's not gonna run across. There's gonna be like 4 or 5, right? They're all gonna push across. Unless it's like obviously like a lurk or something, but that's besides the point. That wouldn't happen in the situation. And so because of that, he's shoulder peeking because he doesn't want to take a 1-on-1 or a XV1 fight. So he goes for the, notice how he hits the shot and backs off. And the reason he does that is because if he committed, he could have died to the players behind him, which doesn't end up happening. See, that Jett could have potentially been there quicker to help trade the Cypher. And she doesn't. Obviously, the smoke kind of unironically helped him out there, but still, this is good by him. You see why shoulder peeking is really good, because you can go for shots like this, and even if he doesn't kill Cypher there, that pulls out a Sage heal, which is huge, or it just puts him in a bad spot where he has to play safer.
Nothing else.
Playing around the smokes, this is also really good by him. Anytime you have a smoke down, it's really good to play around the enemy mistakes. Obviously, this is just the only thing the Brimstone can smoke, and the enemy should be prepared for this, but they're not. That's, it is what it is.
I did see Jett there.
So good by him. It's good. Does a really good round so far. And let's just see what happens for the rest. You notice how he tries to force himself into 1v1 fights instead of like 3v1s. Wow, that was very quick reactions. Okay. And he just aces. Wow, interesting. So yeah, and it's kind of the similar situation here. He knows that they're coming, which is why he just commits, because he's expecting them. It's kind of the same thing. If you're ever holding an angle and you literally know they're about to peek, like 100% know they're about to peek, it's a lot quicker, easier to react than if you have no idea. And he knows, so he is fully expecting them to be there, and he peeks. Now he switches his angle up to more of an off angle because his Brimstone probably has his crosshair closer. You can't really explain it. Brimstone's crosshair is probably more to this side because that's where he was. Puts him in a better spot. Now he goes for the gets to get some shots off. Still kind of scary because he doesn't have the best fall off position, but that is good to readjust your angle like that. Once again, knows they're coming, so he gets to basically pre-fire them, and then he just kind of goes for the frag after because you're wondering from the A's, you know she's there. Theoretically, not the very last peek is a little sketchy, but good round by him, obviously. These two kills CT, or these two things CT were really, really good. Really well done by him in this spot. So yeah, good pistol round. Good pistol round. Gets himself a nice full buy because of that.
Hey, dude, use the...
What happens here?
I want to see that weaponry.
Expecting them to walk through the smoke because of their guns. Good pre-fire by him because it catches the enemy off guard. The Brimstone probably wasn't expecting that to happen. Still kind of a scary spot because of the fact that when he does get that kill, if there's more, he can die. You see him trying to spray through this, which is why he freeze fires it, because he is the Brimstone's just not ready for him to be there, which is what happens. Gets the free kill. Boom. Then he peeks and trades him. If he has enough time to react, yeah, no, he doesn't have time to react. But he could have dashed out. And in that situation, once he got the kill, I think he might have had time to dash out anyways. But I just don't think he was expecting this player to be here. But overall, not too bad. Because it's a full eco. His team can just run at them because of the fact that they have numbers advantage and all that stuff. So good peek overall, good. You can catch people off guard really easy by that. And notice how he's kind of caught people off guard twice with how he's playing. Because the Cypher peeked on pistol round, was either expecting the smoke to be there or was not expecting him to re-peek. However, so Cypher should have obviously, I think pistol round waited for that smoke to completely pop. And then same thing here. Notice how he just played around, just catching people off guard. Really good. Same situation, shoulder peeking. Ends up taking the fight. Yeah, let's see.
Just smoked twice. Could have went heaven.
This is the pug in him, just wanting to fight. I don't know how she shot this far off, but she did. This is the pugger in him wanting to take the fight. It's completely understandable. That's just part of the game. But he could have died here because it was a 1v1. And he does not know who is behind her, which is probably why you see him fall off. We don't know who crossed because of the Jett smokes that he threw, that Jett threw. So he repositions, which is good.
That was Jett. Let me drop.
What happened? Oh wait, they're all dead. That's how much I missed that quick.
That was Jett.
Kind of playing for info here. Takes the fight whenever he gets the chance. Not too bad. That's fine.
One more on ramp. I'm holding it.
And yeah, all not a bad round.
That was actually a really clean updrift dash.
I think Raze could have played this a little bit better. Let me
Jett.
see. This fight is scary because he missed the first few shots. Cypher could kill him here, and that could put them in a good spot. So this is kind of not the greatest fight he should take, because of the fact that I said that very funkily, but don't worry about it. Because of the fact that Cypher can very easily just get this kill here. I'm not going to say should get this kill because now that we're at pretty much the kind of the highest level, just right under pro. This is where gunfights will begin to get more even because everybody's aim is close to the same level. So this is why this stuff gets really scary because it's not like obviously Tenz is probably a better player than him, but like at the end of the day, it's like for the Cypher to be at a high level, he's clearly not a bad player. So him taking this fight and committing is scary because he could have died here. And if he dies here, that leaves her in a weird spot because she's kind of in a one and done, and she's kind of needing to rely on her teammate to stay alive because if not, she gets one kill and then instantly dies after because then they know where she is. And so kind of a scary fight for him to take, but he takes it anyways because like I said, he's just being a pugger. We're not all about being smart here. And obviously, you're gonna have to take fights eventually. At the end, I think that is one of the bigger things that isn't I haven't like addressed. Like there is gonna come a point where you just have to fight them, and so because of that, he just takes it, goes for it. And yeah, a little scary, but not the worst. And we'll see him opping here. Opping for Jett is super good on CT side. Nothing happens. He rotates mid after callouts. Got a frag here.
Market.
Good reaction time by him. Good angle to hold. So you can outgun her very easy. His not. That's what that's saying. Going back to that situation of how can I win this fight? How can I miss this kill? He has pretty much the whole advantage. How can he miss the kill? Or how can he die, excuse me? He can't. There's really much no way he dies here. Unless he just completely is in the middle of nowhere and she just goes crazy. But obviously, like, there's pretty much always a situation you can always die. But at least him thinking about the fact, like, or not thinking about the fact, excuse me. Just the positioning he takes is good there because the odds of him dying there are very low, of course. And then how can he win the fight? He has it up. She doesn't. Obviously, there's no really way to know that, but it's fine. It was a good peek. Essentially, the more so the reason I'm saying this is for her sake. Maybe when she peeked the angle, she should have thought about that, and she could have probably thought there could be an op here, and she might not have peeked it. Obviously, she went for the shoulder peek. And Tenz has just good reaction time, so she just needs shoulder peek better. But the idea is still there. So good.
Yep. Hold up. Coming out.
They have info of where this player is. Okay. That was pretty funny.
Yep. Hold up.
I definitely should get his gun out here. Obviously, it was just the funniness of how it worked. That was actually wow. But anyways, the good round by him once again. A few small things that could have been adjusted, but now that he has the op, he just kind of outguns everybody. They're just the same thing, holding a good angle, expecting them to peek. They don't peek. Rotates over to the site they're pushing. Doesn't look like much happens.
Oh, dude, I'm whiffing. I'm showing my barrel. I don't see him. I might be capping. Could be anywhere.
Good angle, misses a shot. The repeek is not the worst because she is here to get the trade. She just misses her shot. And notice how he's not, after that, not instantly peeking up after him. And then, yeah.
No, dude,
so as Cypher here, like I said, notice how he's kind of shoulder peeking him. He's trying to bait out some shots, trying to bait him out, trying to get him, just trying to stall, essentially, because at the end of the day, that's what he's doing, waiting for his teammate to get here. So as Cypher, the only way for him to win this round is to force 1v1s. And he knows that Tenz has an op, and so he's going to try to get in close. Tenz takes note of this, whips out, gets his shorty out, and he holds that angle that he should expect. And it's good, because that's exactly what the Cypher tried to do here. He tried to take the fight because he thinks she has an op. Excuse me. I guess Jett would be she. He knows that Tenz has an op, so Tenz gets a shorty out. Really well played by him. Really smart. Also heard him getting close, so he's just like, yeah, shorty, of course.
I don't say. Okay, he just did. Okay, you killed him.
Ray's going hard, so he's just gonna hold the angle until they peek.
I don't say anything up. They just Cypher caged it. Cypher cage again.
Bad play by the Cypher. He should expect an opper here, because at this point I think they know Jett is A, and they know that Jett is trying to op. Or from last round they know she's opping, so he needs to be able to do that quicker, so he doesn't die to stuff like that.
You got my op for me. What's it?
This is good. This is actually a good place to be. Because same sort of situation happens here. If they push up, it's an easy trade for Sage, and that's exactly what happens. He gets the kill, Brimstone goes to him, kills Jett, she instantly trades. So that's good. This is good for him. Sometimes in CT situations you don't want this, because if the T's constantly take trades, then they will eventually win out, because you can't play 5 on a site. That's just not how it works. But because they have big numbers advantage, it was 5v3. They can do that, because 5v3 turns into a 4v2, 4v2 turns into 3v1.
The budget lore.
And so in that case, it's good. So that's good by him. Let's see what happens here. Raze tries to go ham with her op, and because of that, she dies. I think she needs to take priority of the angle, and I don't know. That's hard to say, but whatever. We're not watching Raze. We're watching Tenz. He is aware of the fact they could be rope side, but that's why his teammates come to pick it up, which is why he doesn't turn around. So that's good by him.
Uh-oh.
He's expecting her to jump up. At this point, it's pretty obvious they're coming A, so he gets his ult ready.
They could fall back. Okay. One up A.
Good pick by him. He's just doing opera things. Nothing at this point. It's pretty bread and butter. There's nothing. I mean, he's just doing what he should be doing, holding angles properly, and that sort of a thing. You just hold angle with an op where you can fall off, shoot the shot, either get the kill or instantly fall off after, which is exactly what he's doing.
Wait, heaven.
Let's get through this round a little bit.
Bomb.
They plant B. Let's see if he plays this right. Bad by Cypher. Once again, Cypher's making quite a bit of mistakes, and as you can see here, I don't know if he knows that she is up here. I'm pretty sure it's clear that he does not know. No, she's running. He should know. Yeah, I think he's trying to shoulder peek, which has a very wide shoulder peek. And especially if you know that the person's opping, it's not the worst if you have rifle, because you can just peek, take a shot or two, and then you have full info. Peek somebody with an op, if you take a shot, you die. So bad by Cypher. He's now running around with ult, gets the kills. Alright, let's back up a bit. He clearly knows Sova's there. Smokes it off. As he smokes it off, he goes for this pick, which then Brimstone peeks. Bad peek by Brimstone because he forced a 1v1. Now, obviously, he knew, Tenz knew that he was there, or it seems like he did, which is why he confidently jumped around like that. But all Brimstone has to do here is wait for him to push through the smoke, and then they can take the fight 2v1. And because of that, they lose the round. So good by him to force 1v1s. Like I said, this could have been prevented if Brimstone didn't swing yet. If he just looks at his mini map, waits for the Sova to say that Sova's swinging, just be like, "Yo, Sova, swing now." He runs through the smoke, and then as that happens, if Tenz kills Brimstone here, Sova would be through the smoke by now, and then he'd be dead. And see, he was through just a little late. And so that put them both into 1v1s, and that's, like I said, good from Tenz to know to try to take the 1v1s, which is why we see him smoke CT, try and push the guy 1v1, and then he takes the next one. And because of that, he wins the game. So, yep, cool. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I just wanted to talk about one of the games he plays. As you can see, not everybody's perfect. A lot of the mistakes he was playing was not really playing around his team as well as he should be, and what I mean by that is either communicating with them better, saying stuff like, "Yo, I'm opping, so I can't entry," or you know, things like that. Pushing in with his team because of the position he's in. Noting the fact that 2 oppers on T side is probably not a good idea. That sort of thing. But the things he definitely does good. I think he plays around the enemy's disadvantages really well, or the enemy's poor decisions really well, like the bad brimstone smokes, the Cypher's misplays, so stuff like that. Anyways, I just kind of wanted to cover a pro's game, just talk about it, and just kind of give it some background. Like I said, as you can see, these players are not perfect. They also have things to work on. They also have things they can do right. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys a lot for watching. And if you have other people you'd like me to review, please just let me know in the comments. Shoot me some stuff on Discord, and we can work something out. So, all right, thank you guys.